Welcome back to the Midnight Who Show, and today we'll be reviewing episode 10 through 15 of Superman and Lois, and talk about the Arrowverse in the room, which I think is going to be the most talked about thing about this entire season. I did enjoy these last few episodes. I thought they had a pretty good pacing to them. I still don't think Allie was a great villain until, really the end, and how they defeated her I felt was really kind of rushed, it felt. At least her motives were really clear. She wanted to merge the planets. And they did that. And it was a great scene. I really liked the glitchiness. I think they handled it really well. But I really kind of wonder, would this have been really a suitable planet after the merging? There's a lot of questions with it. But I think how they defeated her was really kind of quick. That was my least favorite part of it. This last few episodes also found toward the end that Allie was able to drain the life force of Superman, and that's how she was able to get enough power to start merging it. And I really like the scene how, Clark is now powerless, but we really get to see him being Superman. And what I mean by that is he was able to kind of motivate, and give hope to the city of Smallville, even without his powers. And I really like that. And also that recharge scene is, he was thrown into the sun, and that just, wow, that was an amazing scene. Definitely a highlight of the season. Now, episode 10, I liked a lot. I really like when shows kind of explore a different universe, and we see a lot of the differences in there. So that episode was really exciting because they kind of showed each of the different characters, and it was really interesting seeing how each of them was really different. Now, Lucy, I'm really glad she started to kind of wake up a little bit about Allie toward the end. And also I will say, Mitch Anderson, I did like him in episode 10. His last review, I wasn't quite, they made him really a hated character, but I think that last episode he was in was really good. And I think as a whole, season 2 was pretty good. I think it had a lot of good moments with it. I still think, these last few episodes, I'm really just glad that at least 2 members of the Cushing family at least know Clark and Jordan's secret, because honestly, Jordan keeping that from Sarah for much longer, I think would have just really just not been that great of a decision. It would just been just more kind of unnecessary drama. And I really hope for, John and Nat that they will have a little bit more in the upcoming season. I really like their characters. I just don't think they were used too well in this season, but I did like him toward the end. I really liked how he was kind of in that kind of space in between worlds. And also, Tal Rowe, phenomenal character. I really like that. He's definitely having this kind of back and forth dynamic with Superman, and I really like that. And it'll be interesting to see what they do with his character now that he's on the other universe. So let's talk about the Arrowverse in the room. Yeah, this show is not in the Arrowverse, or Earth Prime. It is not in Earth Prime. So this basically falls into the same category of what Stargirl is. It's just Arrowverse adjacent, which is not really Arrowverse, if that makes any sense. I'm okay, sort of, with this decision. I still think it feels a little like a bait and switch, mostly because a lot of scenes in season 1 was kind of hinting at it, but you could also, I guess, argue that it's just the multiverse version of, Diggle. Okay. But it just felt like, we expected it to be in the Arrowverse, and then it's not. Things make a lot of sense now. Why he didn't call Barry or Kara. It makes sense. But it just feels like this was such a last-minute decision because the Arrowverse is coming to an end, and they wanted to have the show, live on a little bit more. But honestly, I think it's just going to anger a lot of fans, unfortunately, who, Arrowverse fans. I just feel they're not going to be happy about this decision. And I can understand that. I feel like, it's just why wait? I read some of the interviews. It's we had to wait till the finale, but why? It would have been so much better just to acknowledge it from the start that you wanted to set this outside of the Arrowverse and make it its own thing, which I think is a great idea. You can now take villains that were in, Supergirl and reinvent them, and you don't have to say, Crisis caused that change. You can have a different version of Kara. They can do so much, But yeah, they should have told us from the beginning. Because to make it say, this is an Arrowverse show for almost, 2 seasons, it's kind of disappointing. And I will honestly say, it's been really rough for the Arrowverse this year. And it's really kind of depressing, honestly. Because now, truly, we only have one show left. The Flash. And that's coming to an end probably next year. And it's honestly just really sad that I see the Arrowverse, with the Flash, that's probably going to be the last show, and it's just going to go out with like this little whimper. It's not going to be a huge celebration of 10 years of television. 6 shows! 2 shows existing in the multiverse at this point, Stargirl and Superman and Lois. It brought back Constantine from the NBC show. It did so much for DC fans. Even if you didn't like the universe, it still holds a very important place in the DC history. I want this universe to go out with a huge celebration. I want, a huge crossover or something to just end this universe right. And we're not going to get that, I feel. And that's just not cool. I know there's the CW sale and everything, so that's what it feels like to me, is they know the CW might be sold, but they still would want these shows, you would think. Or, the Flash, that's 9 seasons. It's going to come to an end. They canceled Batwoman and Legends. It's just really, really awful. It's because it's 10 years next year. It's just, I just can't honestly believe it, though. That, this decade, I've watched this entire Arrowverse. I've watched all the seasons. And I miss those big moments in December. I miss that feeling of interconnectedness. And at least this season with The Flash, there were attempts to, create that feel. Like, I really enjoyed that we saw Ray Palmer for a little brief second. We got that Armageddon with some of the awesome characters that we met in the Arrowverse. I really wanted to see The Flash and Superman cross over one more time. And I just don't think we're going to get that. And I think that's a real shame. But I really think the true culprit for the downfall of the Arrowverse is the pandemic. I really feel that's what's caused it, and a little bit of the merger with, Warner Brothers maybe having new priorities in the CW sale. But, I think that pandemic just ruined any chances for interconnectedness, crossovers with shows that I think needed it. I think Batwoman having like a crossover, it may not save the show from not getting canceled, but at least, done something. And, right now, it just seems like Diggle was the only kind of thing connecting it. And it's just interesting that Superman and Lois, they had that moment where he just was on Superman and Lois, and it just made him sound so much like the Diggle that we know, and now it's just a multiverse version of him, which, is kind of cool. Diggle exists all around the universes, and Tyler Hoechlin plays Superman in a lot of different Earths. It's cool. I like the multiverse, but I really think they should have been more transparent to the fans who have devoted a lot of time watching the Arrowverse and was really, excited. I really hope this doesn't hurt the show, because I still think, even though season 2 was a little step down for me from season 1, it still is so good. The writing on Superman and Lois is phenomenal. I really enjoy it. It's a real shame that this is going to damper people's excitement for the show. So there's my thoughts on the episode 10 to 15 of Superman and Lois and the Arrowverse in the Room. Let me know your thoughts on this issue in the comments below. I'm still going to watch this show. It's still good. I really enjoyed this version of Superman. I'm just a little bit bummed that they weren't more kind of, clear from the very beginning. And I think that would have really helped this. Well, that's it for tonight. I will see you guys in the next video. And bye, everyone.